Hey guys, and welcome to this week's vlog. If this is your first time joining me, my name's Andrea and I'm the owner and artist of Coco Michelle Illustrations, and Rihanna is pregnant. That's the most important thing that I'll probably say in this entire vlog. So thank you for tuning in. It is Monday afternoon. I've had a pretty good day for a Monday, if I have to be honest. Mondays definitely lost some of the sting once I quit my job and was an entrepreneur. All the days kind of blend into one. Then you sprinkle in a little pandemic. It's like, what year is it? Let alone what day. But yeah, I went to bed early. Game changer. Mood through the roof. I got up, I did my little workout. I like to work out using my Oculus. And when I say I like to work out, I mean today was the first time I did it. I don't know why I said it in a way that like made it sound like this is a routine. I've literally never did that before. I would insert footage, but I do not hate myself enough to do that. But energy is through the roof. I'm feeling great. Then I found out Rihanna was pregnant. It's just the sun is shining. Look at that. Another thing that gave me hope was I did my end of year review with my accountant this morning. She's so sweet. She's never like said anything that would make me fear her ever. She don't play. I'll tell you that. She doesn't play with me ever. But we broke everything down. I see the opportunities that I have to do better this year. Last year was my first year. I haven't even been in business fully for 2 years yet. So last year was like my first full year of being in business, having an accountant, tracking what I'm spending, my profit and loss, and we were very profitable, almost too profitable because taxes. That was something I learned where you have to like really try and figure out how to balance your profit and loss to tell the story that you want to tell, but also not, put you into unnecessary tax restraints. And being able to balance it so that you're investing properly into your business, you're spending wisely, you're getting smart debt instead of like silly expensive debt. But I feel good because I feel like I have an understanding of what I need to do. And that means that I have to change some things about my lifestyle to accommodate this. And it's funny because all the things that I need to change are in alignment with who I want to be as a person. So each goal is kind of encouraging and supporting the next goal. So that seems like I'm on the right track, but I have some drawing to do. I have some planning to do. So let's just jump right into it.
Hey.
Neon.
Hey, my bad.
I'm tired of it treated.
No.
All that womp sounds to me so obnoxious.
Boy, you played yourself with your nonsense. Hey, I don't know what you're saying, though.
Say what?
Would I go? I don't know what you're saying, though.
Say what?
Would I go? All that womp sounds to me so obnoxious.
Boy, you played yourself with your nonsense.
Hey, I don't know what you're saying, though. Don't you know? Yeah. Came in 88 with a dream, oh so bright-eyed. They knew right away, sink or swim, there's no lifelines. Cutting their teeth on the move, nobody's filling these shoes. Balling on a budget at the Golden Arches, super size number 2. Cash, way that the world ain't budging. Gotta make a power move, deep in the darkest dungeons. I'm digging up my own route, hands on the plow. Yeah. Keep my head down, sweat on my brow. Don't make a sound, pay my dues now. This is the pride of a man. Step in the ground, I'm counting my blessings, aggressively pushing the boundaries off of my family. Came to this land, a dream in my hand. All of that changed when life decided to switch on my plans. Yeah, tell me now, how did we get so low? Yeah, tell me now, how did we get so bruised? Yeah.
Tell me now.
How could they be so rude? Swear I'ma lose my cool. I won't be made as a fool now.
Mia.
Mia.
Ain't my bad.
I'm tired of it treated.
Don't retreat it.
All that womp sounds to me.
After years of thinking about it, I finally started my Patreon, and I'm so excited to be able to give you guys more access to things that you may need depending on where you are in your creative journey. I have things like time lapses, tutorials, all the way up to art critiques, so I can actually look at your art and give you some feedback or even give you an audit on your Etsy shop. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. I'll keep reminding you guys, I just started it. I'm going to start posting as of tomorrow, February 1st. Thanks. So excited to be able to give you guys more access to. As you can see, I just had a spur of the moment split decision to launch my Patreon. I mean, I've been talking about doing Patreon for at least a year and a half with Sheena. About once a month, I'm like, hey, Sheena, I want to start my Patreon. She goes through X, Y, and Z with me. I do one step and then I come to a complete halt and I'm like, do I want to do this? Because the thing is, if I do a Patreon, I know that I want it to be value packed. I want it to be a source of information, inspiration, community, like all these things with such high expectations, with such little time. But after thinking about it, I was just like, this is something that's very important to me. For those of you who don't know, I don't know if I ever mentioned on here that I wanted to actually have like a creator academy. Before I even quit my job at Macy's, I was like trying to figure out how I could fund and get enough time allocated to create something like this, because my number one passion aside from creating art is teaching and being of value and of service to other people. So I got the closest I ever did about a week and a half ago, and I was on the phone with Sheena and I was like, hey girl, so you know, it's that time. I want to launch my Patreon for real this time. Here are my tiers. And I never had tiers like planned before, so this was like, we are close, we are on the precipice. And she was like, I was like, oh no. She's like, yeah, that imposter syndrome has you all the way messed up. I was giving away the house, I was giving away the cows, I was giving away everything for free. The whole point of Patreon is to monetize the things, to make it so that you are able to allocate time to do it. Because like all of you, I have bills and I have things that I need to do. So being able to allocate time and take away my time and resources from one aspect of my business to another is something I would need some sort of monetary exchange for, which is why I have the platform. I just put it in my story, so who knows if I'll get any signups. Wait a second. When did I post this? 11 minutes ago, and it has 73 views. One thing that I am wildly prepared for is that this is not going to be an influx of a bajillion people all at once. This is not like a shop launch. It's not anything like this. I'm doing a super soft launch. I'm not going full gusto because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not expecting to get 50 signups or I'm not putting goals. I'm not doing any of that stuff. This is simply a resource. This will give me a platform to put stuff that I get asked all the time and a pipeline to lead people to when they have these questions. That's how I'm thinking of it. I'm not expecting anything, so my feelings ain't finna get hurt. Not today. So just a quick update. I have 3 beautiful patrons at this moment, but I also just got an email from a client that I really, really, really wanted to work with that I was not chosen to move forward. The agony. And it's so much worse because they emailed me and said, you know, we want to work with you. It's not firm. We'll put you on the list for the client to approve. And I would have been way better off had I just not even known this opportunity existed. But I guess I'm stretching and growing my rejection muscle that is oh so tender and always has been. So I'm still going to make the most of the day. I'm going to go hang out with my mom for a little bit and shop a little bit. So I'm part of the game.
It took me 17 days to shake you, rearrange my mind, erase you. I waited, all my pride on the table.
Hey guys, it's Tuesday and officially Black History Month. How y'all doing? How you feeling this February? Yesterday was one of the weirdest days ever, and it bled over a little bit into this morning, but primarily yesterday. I'm pretty sure I filmed a short clip yesterday that I caught the biggest L yesterday, but I'm feeling fine today. I woke up not even thinking about it, to be honest, but yesterday I was kind of like, I think one of the topics that I do want to talk about at the end of this video is rejection as an artist and how to bounce back and what to do to kind of like lick your wounds after your ego's been bruised. Visual arts are so tied to our emotions and we tend to be more sensitive as creatives. So things like that can really set you back and put you into a creative rut. And I, on the other hand, ended up having kind of like this burst of inspiration. Not necessarily like by design. It just kind of fell into place that way. Maybe my mind was like going into overdrive, like, oh, you want to reject me? Me? So I have some things I'm cooking up in my mind. I want to come out with t-shirts. I came out with t-shirts in June of 2020, and it was absolute chaos. Absolute chaos, because I sold so many shirts like instantly, and the manufacturer had very, very limited availability because of COVID. COVID was like high and mighty during that time. So it was taking weeks to months for people to receive their shirts, and it was giving me the worst anxiety ever. So I kind of had an aversion to shirts ever since then. I do have one shirt that's in my shop. I never talk about it. I just kind of have it like hidden and tucked away on my store. But we do sell those. So, and people buy them, people find them, they stumble across them, and they buy them and they enjoy them. So I want to dabble a little bit more. For those of you who don't know, which is probably most of you, I went to school for fashion design. So I always kind of have this like thing that pulls me back to apparel. I really am drawn to it, whether I'm drawing it or designing it. I like it. T-shirts is kind of like a happy medium because I don't have to design the actual garment. I have print-on-demand partners that I trust and use, so I can really just enjoy creating what will be on the shirt and not think about all of the operational aspects of it and trying to figure out what sizes to buy and to buy the right depth per size per color. It's a nightmare. So yeah, I was brainstorming with Mr. Coco earlier in the living room. We have like, I want to say 3 to 5 solid ideas that I'm gonna flush out and do some thumbnails for. But also, I have 5 patrons now. I did my first post this morning as promised. And I really enjoyed it because I did kind of like a blog post, but it had my post that I shared today for February, which I'll put right here. And then it also just gave a breakdown of everything that went into it. So I did a mood board that pulled together all the swipe inspo pictures that I pulled for it, as well as the outline sketch, my color palette, the brushes that I used with swatches of them, the names and what I used it for, and then the final piece. And I think it came out really good. And I also did like a blog post where I wrote exactly what my train of thought was, because I'm always interested, at least I find it interesting, to get an inside scoop of what the artist was thinking. So when I created this piece, it was really inspired by the beret. And that was the thing that was the catalyst for everything that came after it, because I wanted the beret, which is very symbolic of Black activism. I wanted that to kind of be the thing that stood out, and then also didn't want it to be so heavy, so I used vibrant colors that were a nod to the era, which is like that 60s 70s kind of psychedelic feel to it. So being able to break it all down for my patrons and give them all the tools that I use felt really good. Oh, and one more thing.
Why are you picking me up?
Michael's home. Michael had a classmate that tested positive for COVID, so Michael has to be home all week.
Hi, welcome to my video.
So I've been trying to get work done and navigate having this one here. So let's see how inspired I am by the end of the day. Abubakar was literally walking out the door and I got the email saying, "Halt! Don't bring these kids to this school." This will be fun. I didn't get to do my workout this morning because Michael was here, and I do my workout on the Oculus, like I said, and anytime I break out the Oculus in front of him, it's a problem. My arms are sore though. I think it worked. I was in there getting it. Like, it's fun. All right, that's enough. That was embarrassing. This was the first one. Very, very saturated. Way too saturated, way too red. Give you a close-up. When it's oversaturated like this, you lose a lot of the detail, which is why I had to create that separation and desaturate it a little bit and also cool down her skin so it pops against the very warm reds and oranges in the background. So I'm happy with her. Only took 3 tries. Took me years to only take 3 tries though. Happy Wednesday. Today I started off my day by waking up, going to the bathroom, deciding, nope, not today, getting back into bed, only to be shocked out of my sleep because I realized I had a meeting today. Got up, took a shower, got dressed, did my hair and makeup, logged into the Zoom call. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes go by. I look at the Zoom call. The meeting is tomorrow. The meeting is tomorrow. So naturally, I'm wearing full hair and makeup in my pajamas, and I will continue to do so for the remainder of the day in protest of my error. Yesterday was one of those days where you put a lot of effort in and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. And I had to change my mindset and, not think of those days as throwaway days, because it kind of feels like you wasted the day. But I was doing work. I was drawing and trying to get some stuff done. And it wasn't coming out right, but that's all practice and it's all making me better as an artist. So it's never a waste, even though it feels like it a little bit. Yesterday I posted my illustration. I think I talked to you guys a little bit about it. I definitely got shadow banned because I got about 2,500 shares on that post in 24 hours and Instagram still wouldn't show it on any hashtags. So definitely got shadow banned somewhere along the line. I actually reported it to them because I saw that might help. So at least future posts don't get shadow banned. I don't know what I did. I haven't been overusing hashtags. I haven't been misusing hashtags. So I don't think it's right for y'all to be shadow banning me the first day of Black History Month. I think there should be something in the rule book that says don't do that. I have a few other things, admin things that I need to do today. I got a pretty exciting email today, but after what happened earlier this week, I'm not getting my hopes up until my name is on the dotted line. So we'll see if anything comes into fruition. For now, it's just an email and that's all I'm gonna give it. That's the only energy I'm gonna give it. So, but I do need to kind of plan out what my Patreon posts are gonna look like for the rest of the month. When I hear Michael laughing, it could be anything. Could be just the TV or it could be because he's hanging from the ceiling. But I need to do some planning today. It's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. This is usually when my focus starts to get a little fuzzy. You know what I'm saying? You're getting closer to Friday. It's getting a little fuzzy. Michael's going to be here during our date. On Fridays, Bubakar and I go on a day date. Michael's going to be here. Guess it's gonna be a family date. But I have a concept that's kicking around in my head. I have a few concepts that are kicking around in my head. One of them I really, really want to work, but it's not like when I put that pencil on that paper, it ain't coming out the way I see it in my head. But I do have one concept that I think I know how to execute, because there's always this gap between what I see in my head and what my wrist is able to do. So I think this one is actually aligned, so that's what we can work on next. I want the motion of the piece to be going upward. So I want everything to kind of be in that line, but not forced. I don't want it to be too crazy where it doesn't make sense. And the hand would have to be a little bit higher. I feel like because this is the best orientation for Instagram, but for this piece it would really be better served like this, because then I could have the head here, wrist, bullhorn, unless what I was imagining is okay, she's here, the bullhorn's here, and then the words are flowing from the bullhorn. But maybe I put the words on the bullhorn, which would allow me to cut off some more. If I zoom out, it'll be arm back because she's more in motion. And then this arm is coming out here. Just trying to lay some stuff down quickly. And then this arm is here. Then the bullhorn is here. And the bullhorn has the words. She could have some sort of crazy do. Alright, this is one option too. Okay, let's start with the bullhorn. So we have a bullhorn. I just need to fit enough of her where you get her vibe. And there's a lot of empty space that I need to figure out what to do with, which makes me nauseous. It's nearly 10 p.m. and my husband is just decided to do dishes, I guess. A train is going by. I don't understand what's happening. It's Thursday night. This is the only opportunity I had to get to this session with the little chicken nuggets here running around the house. So hopefully there's not too many disruptions, because in a normal household, it would be nice and quiet at this time. So I brought back the mic. You guys seemed to enjoy it last time. If you enjoy it this time, it might become a regular thing. I enjoy it. It allows me a reason to get a lot off of my mind without having to talk your ear off throughout the entire vlog, even though I kind of do that too. So today we're going to be talking about rejection. Yikes, I know. It's an unfortunate yet inevitable part of life that we've all experienced at one time or another, and unfortunately, no matter how many times we feel it, it never feels any better. And unfortunately, it oftentimes becomes a barrier between you and your goals. Did you know that rejection actually activates the same part of your brain as physical pain and temporarily lowers your IQ? So it literally hurts and doesn't listen to reason? Kind of sounds like a man. I kid. But just like anything that causes pain, your brain is going to try and avoid it at any cost necessary, even if those costs are your hopes and dreams. Dang, I know, right? So earlier in the episode, you saw me take an L, and just for your reference, it was a big L. Like, it was the big daddy of L's. So how do you move past professional rejection as a creative so you can continue on your journey? Well, let's talk about it. The first thing I did was I felt all the feels. I just let myself feel everything. I didn't try to pretend I was unaffected, and I didn't switch into girl boss mode. I was just sad. And I allowed myself adequate time to feel sad. The last thing you need is for those feelings to come ricocheting back in 3 weeks while you're checking out at Home Goods, and now the cashier looking at you like you're crazy. And you got tears on your new throw pillow. While you're in the moment, just give yourself that time to hold the L. Now, I will add in a notation that you don't want to give yourself too much time. People can recall and feel the negative emotions caused by rejection for literally years after the situation, and that can cause a real aversion to your true passions because your body is just trying to protect you from feeling like that again. Y'all remember when I stopped drawing for 2 years? No bueno. The second thing I did was I separated myself from my work. As an artist or a creative in general, we often look at our work as an extension of ourselves. So when our work is rejected, it more so feels like, oh, you don't like that? Or maybe you just hate me. I remember one time I was rejected and I changed my whole art style for a good chunk of time because obviously the whole world hates me and my life's work and blah, blah, blah. You know, it gets kind of messy. Vicious even. But when you can remove yourself from the fire, you'll be far more capable of being able to see the situation for what it is versus looking at it as an attack on you or your character or your ancestry or everything you love dearly. The third thing I did was talk about it. This can be one of the harder steps to do, but honestly is the most helpful in my opinion. I get it, taking an L is one thing, and now you want me to take the L out loud? Like, it's a lot, it's too much. But honestly, talking about it makes you feel so much better. Take comfort in the fact that we've all experienced it. One way or another, everyone here has been rejected. So there really is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Talking about it lets me let go of feelings that would be otherwise running completely wild in my mind. A lot of the time, I just blurt it out, like, listen, this is what happened. And by the end of it, I feel better just being able to say it out loud and let go. And I feel the sense of relief immediately. And like with all my recommendations, I'm always going to give you that quick warning and just say, be careful who you confide in. The state of your mentality post-rejection is a very fragile condition, okay? And if you go to the wrong person, that could be incredibly damaging and give you a little bit of extra sazon for that trauma. So if you have someone that you love and care about, and it's not to say that you should love them any less, but if they tend to be, a little bit of a negative Nancy, I would say skip them and call the girl that might make you laugh or be a ride or die for you, but someone who's going to make you feel better by the end of the conversation. And if you don't have anyone that comes to mind that you want to share this experience with, I've also found that journaling has given the same kind of relief. A lot of the time it's just about getting it out of your body and giving it to someone else to hold, even if it's your journal. And the last thing I do is reflect. Now that I have felt all the feels and I've let them all go, it's time to try and figure out what exactly landed me in this position to begin with. Sometimes you're lucky and they give you feedback and they'll tell you exactly why they didn't choose you. Other times, probably most of the time, you're just going to have to guess. But nonetheless, I think it's important to at least attempt to analyze what could have caused the rejection and what maybe you could do differently on your end. Now, I just want to insert a little reminder. We are talking about professional rejection. We are not asking our exes for feedback in 2022. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times in this industry, it comes down to budget or style. And in those cases, that doesn't mean you should be lowering your rate or changing your art style. It just means that you weren't a good fit for that project, and that's okay. 9 out of 10 times, they just found somebody cheaper, and it comes down to dollars and cents. And in that case, it sucks. It definitely sucks, but at least you know it ain't the sauce. But sometimes, every once in a while, you have that feeling in the pit of your gut where you're like, I may or may not low-key kind of know exactly why I got rejected. And in those cases, I want you to take action ASAP. Don't allow additional opportunities to pass you by when you know exactly what it is that caused you to catch that L in the first place. Now, this case, it very well could have been budget, but I also feel like there are a couple of things that I did not have in place that may have prevented this from happening. So I am handling that because I don't want another opportunity like this to ever slip through my fingers again. To wrap it all up, I just want us to remember one thing. No matter the reason for the rejection, if it passed you by, it wasn't for you. Now, that doesn't mean it's not for you ever. It's just not for you right now. And it also doesn't mean that there's nothing to learn from the situation. Okay? That's why we're going to reflect and see what are the things that we could do differently. But it just means don't let it knock you off your throne. If it has you down for the count for a couple of days, that's fine. But make sure you dust yourself off and realize that it just wasn't your time. It doesn't speak to you or your talent or your gifts. It just wasn't your time. And you're going to get up and you're going to be stronger and you're going to get better. And the next time the opportunity comes, when it's for you, there's nothing that will be able to stop it. Use this as part of your origin story. It is a bump on the road that when you're doing interviews 10 years from now, you can speak to that specific moment and how it made you feel and how it made you better. That's what I'm going to do at least. But thank you guys, as always. I appreciate you guys always hanging in there to the end of the vlog. It makes me feel really good that the content that I'm creating is valuable enough for you to stick around. So I see you. Leave a black heart in the comments for this time. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.